Welcome back, y'all. Good morning. Good morning. Today is day 6, and we are doing strictly hips and legs. So expect a longer workout than usual. Hope everybody's doing well. We're going to be starting off with the quads, and we're going to be working with the massage gun today, just because I'm feeling lazy. Not going to lie. So I'm not sure how well you can hear me over the massage gun. Hopefully you can. So right now, it's Thanksgiving. And right after this, I got a really busy day today. I got to walk the pups and get them out for at least 2 miles in the morning. I got my disc golf at 7:30, a little new Thanksgiving tradition. And then we got to go buy food and then start cooking a bunch of stuff. And I still have a bunch of work I got to do, like shoot more YouTube videos and things like that. It's going to be a busy day today. What are your plans for Thanksgiving, y'all? Tell me, what did you do? By the time you're watching this, it's probably going to be a week later, so. All right, it's been about 90 seconds. I'm going to change it up into the adductors. The inside leg is something I think a lot of us just don't really hit, but the higher you get up, the more tender it's probably going to be. We're pretty much just hitting the glutes or the legs today when it comes to massaging. We'll do some nice mobility drills with the hips. I also got some new bands here. Basically, the only thing that's different between those and the other bands are the color scheme. And I got new mini bands coming tomorrow, which is also white that fades into black as it gets heavier. Now, when it comes to bands, it doesn't matter which ones you get. I've always found like it really doesn't matter. The only thing I look for is to make sure that they are the continuous loops. The ones that are kind of just one long tube and handles on both ends. I'm not a fan of those. I've never liked those. And nothing really wrong with them. I've just never personally been a fan of those. I feel like they're a little cheaper and they're flimsy, and I don't know. To me personally, I just don't feel good. It's about 3 minutes on one leg. Let's hit the other leg. So yeah, not much to talk about today, honestly. Really don't have much going on. It's something I was thinking about in terms of my YouTube channel. I was thinking about when I hit 25K subs, then we will start transitioning out of thoracic outlet syndrome, very specifically, and then into more just general pain issues. So if that's something you want to get to faster, you can always help me out by sharing the content with your community. Just a random thing that I've been thinking about, and when I hit the 25K, I know a lot of you know that I put some videos on private, just try to focus on the TOS niche at the moment. So when I hit 25K, I'll definitely unlock all those, the posture ones, the plantar fasciitis, and things like that. I know a lot of you kind of like those as well. We'll definitely get into a lot more different techniques, different ways to get rid of pain, specifically with massage more than anything. Oh, those hamstrings are tender. I would hit the glutes. Just gonna lean off the chair here and just hit it from here still. This is the last muscle in massage real quick. And again, the idea here is just to try to find the most tender spot or the area that feels stuck and sore. Just work it for a little bit. Try to loosen up the tissues before we start working on them. The idea of this, again, is not to shut down the nervous system. It's to wake it up and get blood flow going, get those tissues moving, things like that. So I'm not finding too much tenderness in here, which is good. And I think we could probably move on to the mobility drills. So first thing we're doing here is going to be cars. The controlled articular, something like that, rotations. And again, the idea of this is to contract your muscles and get those hips to go through its full range of motion as much as you can. So the goal here is to do about 5 reps. Try to take your time doing it. You know, some spots kind of feel worse than the others. The idea is to get that mobility back. All right, let's do the other side. So if we didn't know, for all of you who have back pain and shit like that, tight hips will create back pain. And the reason why is because the body likes to work in a balanced state. So what I mean by that is, if you look at the joints, how they stack up, you'll notice that they will go from mobility, as in it has lots of movement, to stability, meaning designed to be stable, obviously. And the body will stack itself in this mobility, stability pattern. So ankles are mobility, knees are stability, hips are mobility, lower back, stability. Now, the way we get lower back pain is that because we don't use our hips as much, they get locked up, and then they become more stable versus mobile. So if that happens, your body will look for that mobility in the joint next to it. So in this case, if your mobile hips become stable hips, then that means either your lower back or your knees are going to start having more mobility in them in order to compensate for that locked up position. And that's what kind of happens here, right? So if you have lower back pain, can't get rid of it, and you have tight hips, try fixing the tight hips first. By the way, we're doing some just extensions and flexions here. It's more about just the extensions. But yeah, if you have back pain, tight hips, focus on the hips. The chances are once you start loosening that, then the core can go back to being stable and you can start strengthening it correctly. All right, from here we'll get into some cars. We just did cars. 90-90 mobility. Right now, this was really good actually on my back. I've been having a little bit of back pain the last couple of days. I think it's just because I've come back into working out again. And I've also played a lot of disc golf this week because a lot of my friends are off. So a lot of us had time to kind of go play more. I just think a lot of that accumulating, once again, just kind of tightened up my hips. My lower back started taking the brunt. So when I played disc golf, I was rotating with the spine instead of the hips. And that's probably why I have that back pain. And it's why it probably feels good doing these mobility drills because I'm loosening the hips, which gives the ability for the spine to go back to the way it was. So now we're going to be doing some distractions. So give me 1 second. Let me just adjust all these anchor points. So what you don't see here is I have a bunch of hooks inside the walls, the studs of the house. And this gives me the opportunity to kind of use it as my pulley system, my bend, basically. So here's my old one, but we want the big one today. And that's what these big old monster bands are great for. Either powerlifting, which I'm not a power lifter, or it's great for mobility drills. So anchor a monster band to a low point, clear your junk because you don't want it to get pinched. And now from here, you just want to give it a nice lateral pull. And we're going to do a nice rocking motion in the hips for about 30 seconds to a minute. We'll then face away, have it back, a posterior pull, do the same thing with a rotation this time, and then we'll change legs. So get as much extension as you can. And now from here, we're just going to rock back and forth, tilt your pelvis. And the whole idea of this is you just have some passive traction, which helps kind of pull the socket out of pull the hip joint out of the socket. And you can't actually pull the hip joint out of the socket. It's very difficult to dislocate the hips, but it's just a nice little passive stretch. It's in order to get those tissues to kind of get away a little bit and allow more mobility. This is great, especially if you have like pinching in the front of the hips, to do things like this, because this is going to help kind of separate, again, the ball and socket, which allows a little more room for your leg, and that avoids the pinching. So I'm going to face away now. We have a posterior pull now towards the back. In this case, I'm just going to do a little bit of rotations. It's more about just trying to see if I find any area that feels stuck in the situation. I'm just trying to see if I can get any loosening. Go the other way. And now we can change legs. So again, you're going to have to fix my booty here. Apologize. We're just going to rock back and forth here. All right, let's go posterior with some rocking or some rotations. And those are your band distractions. Nice little pulls there. So that's pretty much it when it comes to the mobility. Now let's get into the actual workout. I'll see you in a little bit. a little bit shorter than I intended. There's like one or two exercises I didn't do there, and that was like an extra adductor on the bench, and that was some basic glute bridges with extensions. So basically, a little extra glutes and a little extra adductors in there, but it really is no big deal. I have a time limit right now. Got to be out of the house at 5:35. I got about 15 minutes of my time, so I want to hit my goals today. I got some time limits to hit. Anyways, hope you liked it. Yeah, I'm still feeling pretty good about these. They don't need to be long workouts for you to feel them. And these for me, like about 15, 20 minutes of workout, 20 minutes of a recovery or a warm up, and about 5 minutes cool down, 5 to 10 minutes of a releasing the muscles and shit. I should be stretching, obviously, but I wanted to roll a little bit first. But the idea of the cool down, remember, is to help the nervous system relax along with the muscles so we can start the recovery process a little faster. All right, let's get some stretching in. Oh. Let's stretch the hamstrings. I can still feel a good stretch in my legs here, so I'm just going to hold this stretch. Just constantly trying to push my knees down gently, and it's going to increase that hamstring stretch even more. I could make it easier by letting go of my ankles, right? That's going to help get the hamstrings down, but then I don't really feel that stretch anymore. So this is all about feeling the stretch, not getting to that range of motion, if that makes sense. All right, let's hit the quads. You're not going to do both at the same time. We all this hair in the face too. So do this at your own risk. Probably not the safest thing to do if you're not extremely flexible, but neither am I. So the idea of this is to get both quads in the stretch at the same time. And I'm going to push my hips up and I get a nice stretch even more. And then you can see here, I got something in the back to support it, which is going to help me get up a lot easier. I am shaking. All right. So I'll probably stretch my quads a little more by standing on that, but we can move on to the next one, which is the adductors. Again, I like to sit on the foam roller or whatever. And we're just going to do a quick butterfly stretch. Feet together. You can push your legs kind of down or lean forward, which I like to do more because then I feel a better stretch on the inside groin. So I will lean as far as I can. And I actually feel more of a stretch on my left side than my right. And if that is the case, I'm just going to lean to my left a little bit and just focus on that bigger stretch. Of course, you will do what is good for you and what feels good for you. What am I trying to say here? It's been about 15 minutes so far since we started. So, again, under an hour here, and you're good to go for the rest of the day. I'm not gonna lie, I was just dreading today, this morning, but I'm glad I finished it. I really am. because now I could go on my day. I don't have to worry about this. I feel better. I usually feel much better after doing a light workout in the morning. And then now I got to watch this little turd. Probably have a nice 2 mile walk with him so I get more blood flow going. I know a lot of you can't do all that, but there's a reason why I wake up super early, right? Not that I just wake up early, but it gives me an opportunity to get things done before I have other responsibilities kick in. So, got the adductors, got a nice little itch on my face. Now we're going to get the quads, the glutes, and then we'll call it. For that, we could do a figure 4 stretch. There's always a good stretch, right? Of course, nothing beats having someone else stretch you, but this is a good stretch if you can't do anything yourself. Switch it up. All right, and that's pretty much it for the stretching. And that's pretty much it for the workout for the day. I hope you guys enjoyed it. A little short, cut it a little short, but pretty much we're still going to hit under an hour, at about an hour if we do the whole thing. So it doesn't matter. Replace those exercises with what you want to do. What the hell is this? Oh, get distracted so easily. But yeah, anyways, that was hips. Day 6. Tomorrow we're working on the shoulders. So make sure to come back tomorrow. I'll see you then.